And
He told me later
Too much
that
reality.
at dinner when, Grandpa was saying the real Santa's coming tonight, that's the child that said, no, he isn't, he's not coming. And then Santa
Get the heck
showed
out
up.
of it.
I know, I have been such trouble now.
none of the things that I pulled off within that family group was successful or hit that child.
No,
They
you never.
shot themselves in the
But
foot already.
the next day, they had digital pictures, so, they printed some off right away. He was telling everybody he saw Santa, so he enjoyed it, but he just, it was
But
like,
he
behind the
didn't, he
couch.
didn't enjoy it up on Santa's knee. He was behind the couch.
Yeah.
Now, in having a repertoire as a professional entertainer Santa, I would not try to read a book to a really large group. The biggest is that you're really comfortable with is about 20. If you're beyond 20, what you're going to need to do is you're actually going to have to be a storyteller, not a story reader. And if you've got more than 20, you have to have that story just stone cold memorized. You don't have to have it word for word because Mary Jo is famous for paraphrasing. I even remember one time when somebody said, "That's not what it says."
it's what I see.
When Heather and Beth were little, and I'm sure all of your kids, they would have their favorite stories completely memorized.
And I know when Mom tried to skip the page.
That story, that thing.
And the kid raised his hand and said, Elijah didn't have a toucan.
Never knew that.
Oh, Bear stays up for Christmas. That was
This
cute.
is one of my successful stories. It works for that kindergarten, but it also spans a little younger. Bear Stays Up for Christmas is one of those that has good pictures, but it doesn't have a lot of words on it. And if I'm losing the crowd, I can just glossy and flip a page.
Oh, look,
and
there
what's
he
on-
is in his cave.
And what's on this? Oh, look, there he is. Now what's happening? And we can have a little discussion and dialogue to move through the story. But if I were going to do this for like 30, and I knew that I was going to have that many, I would pre-type the text for myself, and I would have it on a sticky that I put on the back. They have those really large stickies, Post-it notes, or I would have it as the loose in the back page. And I was looking for my Polar Express, and I took it out and did something with it. It's not in either of these two places. What I've done with the Polar Express is I have the words on just the word strips so that they go with the pages, so that I can do this. I have read it on a stage at Debbie's school. I read Polar Express, and how many kids were there? 125? Yeah, 125 kids. And I was up on the stage, and there was a lady who was translating it into Spanish for those who were the Hispanic side, and it was a big production deal. But there was no way that I was actually reading that story. I was cheating because I was holding it up to here. I was having trouble turning pages, so I got help around the audience and did all that. But I am telling them what's on that page, and I have it on the back.
What is that Polar Express in a big book?
Haven't
Say
seen
it.
it.
Haven't seen a big book. Big book.
They have a big book?
I know.
Well, if they had it in the big book, which is pre-kinder or kinder, any of those, they're always very helpful.
Yeah, mine's about that size right
Yeah,
there.
this is kind of the normal size. Now, the advantage, of course, with the Polar Express is you get to have the bell. Oh, those glass doors aren't going to work. Yeah. Yeah.
These work. If you get moving fast enough when you hit it. Yeah.
So AJ, you're keeping an eye out for your significant other. Thank you. That's a good job. Now, Heather, do you have another one that you wanted to read to us? Or do you have anybody have any questions? Any of you want to take a book and practice it and read any of these books.
Pop-up books are fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was, oh, that's great.
The only thing with those, and they love that, but then you have to make sure, one of the things I find out when I have that is that everybody goes, can I have it, can I see, can I open that page? Boy, pop-up books, don't let kids get a hold of pop-up books.
They go
They'll
in my
pop it right out and then that
We
book
go in
will
my
have-
special closet. Teacher touches them on.
Yeah. And I really like storytelling myself. And that's another thing, if you can get one or two of those kinds of things in your, I do it for church. Oh, I don't know how many times have I done it? At least twice, 3 times. I Love You Forever.
Oh,
That
yeah.
book, I Love You Forever.
Aw,
I do
yeah.
that. Have you seen that at church?
I haven't, no, but I
Oh, you
have
haven't
that
seen it,
book.
but I do a storytelling with that, and it's kind of a repetitive book. You ever heard that? I Love You Forever, and even though you're the little boy, I should have brought it. That would have been really good, but it had nothing to do with Christmas. But it kind of gives you an idea of, it takes more props, but somebody who isn't really Santa, that's, and it's kind of hard for Santa to do that, but it's something to kind of give a time of reset up for Santa, if that's what's happening, and if you could do, if you go along and then you could do this storytelling.
One of the things, when you have a whole group of kids, like 30, and you're trying to talk to all of them, it would be nice to have
Something else
some of
going
the other
on.
kids doing something else. Some of the older kids are being taken care of.
Sure.
And that's why I've asked Mary Jo to join the team. And I've got a couple of Ls. I got that idea from Charlene, high school age, to be able to do those larger kind of a party so that I'm able to focus on and not have to be in charge of all the bits and pieces. And I'm not, even though as a school teacher, I regularly deal with 30 students at a time, but I can't do that and put on the persona of Santa and tie in with one child one-on-one.
And it's really hard for Santa to be the, wait a minute, everybody calm down now, that kind of thing. That's tough,
have to
that's
do the
tough on
ringling.
Santa.
Yeah, Santa can't give the evil
Santa
eye.
can't do that.
Well, I just
Really?
stay consistent.
Hey!
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I was trying to fix something sometimes, and she always corrected me. There's some things getting out of order, and the people, some of the helpers weren't going over. It's stopping some people, they were doing something. I said, well, I started doing it. She said, no, Sam, we can't do that.
Yeah. That's why you have to get somebody who's really kind of on the ball and knows what's going on, and can see what's going on. That's really going to be helpful. because-
I've romanced Mary Jo to come and join my team, so that she'll be able to supply that extra information, because that really is important, especially the larger parts.
Mrs. Claus has a whip and a chair. It's decorated and everything.
What's your point when it stops being book reading and becomes storytelling?
I think it's more of a prop, it's more that you tell the story. You can use any of these stories, that's where I do all my storytelling. It comes out of the book, but it's more with the props. For instance, that book that I Love You Forever, it's a book about the child growing up, and the child's in different stages, and no matter if the child cries and keeps her up all night, the mother still loves the baby and rocks the baby, and she sings. So at the beginning, I have a baby doll, and then we rock, and then I love you forever, I love you for always, as long as I love you, or as long as I know, or I don't even know what the words are. You're my baby, you'll be. And pretty soon you sing that over and over as the child gets bigger. But my dolls get funnier. Like one of them's a big Bart Simpson, and one of them is a monster. I have a monster, because when they get to be 10, they get to be real monsters. So I can grab that, this big blue monster. And then it gets to be, a teenager, and I have a Ken doll, and everybody laughs, because first I have this big monster, and all of a sudden then I have this little Ken doll. And then at the very end of that story, the mother calls the son, and the son goes and rocks the mom. And I have this little, it actually is a Mrs. Santa Claus that I adjusted, and the father and the son rocks his mom. And I mean, it's a tearjerker, and mine is, it's really funny, but it's really meaningful. So what's the trick too is to get something that the adults are going to enjoy, because adults are the ones who are paying attention.